Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Let me share my screen. And here we are. Okay, today we're going to talk about using various tools to check your website and web application for vulnerabilities. So I have evaluated a couple of tools, and I will show you how they work, what kind of output they provide, and how it can be useful, and also how to read the output. So before we start, I just wanted to, start from the end of it. So like these are my sort of conclusions. So first of all, we all develop web applications. It's important that we are not only developing those applications, but we know how to sell them. That's right. You need to sell those applications to your clients, to your bosses, management, your friends, colleagues. So, and one of the questions that people may ask is how secure is the application is you have built using that low-code software. And while you can say, oh, it's very secure, it's not very assuring. And by using these tools, you can prove that your application, in fact, doesn't have any vulnerabilities or any serious vulnerabilities. It's just a part of, it should be a part of your toolkit, and it will not only help you develop safer applications, but it can also help you promoting your work in many different ways. So I think this is important. This is why we're talking about it. And so I have evaluated two tools. There are a whole bunch of them. The tool that I have actually checked is Nessus from Tenable. So it seems to be a large company that targets enterprise customers mostly. I don't think they have pricing on their website at all. And their tool, this is what we're looking right now. This is the dashboard of Nessus Professional. I have created two scans, one for Xlinesoft.com, one for another web forums application, and I have ran them, and there are some results. And one more tool that I evaluated is Burp Suite, Burp Pro, and they seem to be smaller and quite a reasonable approach. You can download a trial version, and the pricing is right here. And most likely, I'm going to end up buying this tool, and maybe I will contact them to get a discount so I can share it with our customers as well. And Burp Suite is mostly targeting web applications, which is what we do and which makes the most sense. Nessus, they can, let me show you an example. They can check not just your web application or your website. They can do a whole lot of things that you probably never going to need. Just take a look at this. They can do like a network scan, or can check mobile devices or mobile applications. I guess that's a whole lot of things that you can do with this tool, and it's just I think it's going to be an overkill for what we're looking for. What we're looking for is web application test, and this is just a small part of it. So okay, let's dig into the actual results. that those can produced, and there were some pretty good findings actually in our lab application. Some of them we have fixed already because they're too dangerous to keep around. Some of them I kept there on purpose so I can show you what it is about and how we can better understand what to do with those. Okay, let's see. So you specify your target. So with Nessus Professional, it's there are like tons of options, and I didn't find an option to point it to the specific URL of the website. It only accepted the URL of the whole website, and it crawls it, trying to open all those links and test every page it finds against various vulnerabilities. So it claims to find multiple vulnerabilities here. So let's start with what is it always makes sense to sort those found issues by severity, starting with high to medium to low, etc. So let's start with high. So it does actually found two SQL injection vulnerabilities. We have already fixed it, I guess, but let me show you what actually it does. So it is talking about, I hope you can see this. It is talking about vulnerability in suggestion box template live demo. And it shows you what kind of request it is sending and what kind of output it's getting. And actually by sending some specially formed kind of request, they were able to break SQL query, which means those variables from the URL are getting straight to SQL query, which is a terrible mistake. And let me show you what it does and how it works and what code causes that and how to fix it. So we did find a couple of like actual really bad vulnerabilities. So we already fixed it in the template itself. So let me show you what it does. So it's Xlinesoft.com live demo suggestion box, and instead of passing like a normal parameter as a master key, it passes something like some JavaScript code, right? It doesn't need to be like a working JavaScript code even. So, and what it does, it produces an error. So it points to the SQL query right here. And let me show it to you so you can actually see it. Yeah, so this is a terrible error on the part of our developers. You can see that what is coming in the URL in the GET request goes straight to, like just the way it is, goes straight here, and it breaks the SQL query. So this is the code that, so the problem is that instead of using prepare SQL, the code was the value of ID coming in the URL or master key, which is a reference to the master record in its comment. So it's like Let's take a look at the suggestion box, what it shows us right here. So the main table is suggestions, and details table is comments. So instead of passing, so if you do something like this, and instead of passing valid value of master key, you can break SQL query, and potentially it can be a SQL injection problem. So the thing is, what you use, if you only use built-in functionality of PHP Runner or ESP Runner.NET, the application that you build will be like 99.9% secure. But the problem is you always need to add something on your own. And when you add your own code, this is where vulnerabilities are to be introduced. And it makes sense. You just need to remember that you never should pass anything from the end user to directly to SQL query. Okay, let me show you this one. I'm pretty sure that we already closed this vulnerability, also found by a different tool. I just want to show you the actual code and how it needs to be fixed. Okay, I just let's take a look at this. So you can see that there is an add item parameter that adds a new item to the shopping cart, to our shopping cart on our website, and software was trying to pass some JavaScript instead of item ID. And we have already fixed that. So it just outputs here what it found, but the JavaScript is not being executed. And it was originally, and it was a problem that this software helped us to find. There is another option that we also had to close. So, and the same, we're trying to reference one of the invoices, and by passing something malicious, you cannot probably see it, but %27 is actually a single quote. So it's just the tool is just testing the possibility of SQL injection, and passing a parameter with a single quote in it is one of the ways. So again, right now it was fixed already. Originally it has provided this kind of error. So I copy pasted this error here. You see the same thing, that is the hash value was taken from the URL as is, and it produced an error in SQL query, which opens a possibility for SQL injections because that single quote wasn't screened. And this is a part of the code that I found. Again, we have fixed it already. This, you can see that post value is a PHP runners function that takes the value either from get or post. It's just a common way to deal with values coming via get or post. And it was copy and pasted the way it is into the SQL query, which is, again, it's a terrible mistake. We already fixed that in both our shopping cart and in the template itself. So the correct approach to this obviously is to use db prepare SQL function. Let me show you, and we will rewrite this code the way it should be. So PHP runner prepare SQL. And as you can see, example number 3, we specify parameters like semicolon 1, semicolon 2, etc., etc., etc. And at the end, we provide values to those parameters. So our SQL query here needs to be rewritten like this. First of all, let's build the SQL query itself. And we're going to call prepare SQL functions. I know I'm talking about SQL injection a lot basically in all our webinars, because this is the one most common mistake and one of the most dangerous things that you can do. Okay, let's start with select ID from invoices where hash equals single quotes, and instead of the post value, we specify parameter number 1. And here we specify it like this. So this is how it needs to be. And after that, we can do our custom query SQL. Exactly the same thing in Esperanto.net. It's just going to be basically the same, except you don't need that sign, and DB prepare SQL is going to be like this. Post value is probably going to be MVC functions post value. And probably like this. Something like this. So this is the code for Esperanto.net. Same idea, right? So it's hard to believe that we still have vulnerabilities like this in our shopping cart. It's been closed now, and it's a custom functionality. This is custom functionality that we have added recently, so we can just just make it convenient. This is how we link our website. Let me show you how it works on the website. So this is functionality that wasn't a part of original template. So if you go to our website and you go to any of templates, for instance, right? Document manager, more info. And when you mouse over by now, it shows you in the left bottom corner the URL, copy link address, and let me show it to you again. This is the functionality is coming from right here. So that's the idea. Add item equals 26. And once you edit the item, that's the one right here. And you will be redirected to, okay, let me do it by now. I am taken to the shopping cart, and you can see the second URL. This is how these tools, they were crawling the web page, clicking all the links, open those URLs, and if instead of the hash, you specify some JavaScript, it would have, or something like this. It's, let me add that single quote here to the URL right now. And it just says that hash number is wrong, so it doesn't break anymore, right? But previously it was producing that kind of error. That was the URL, and this is the kind of error it was producing. So we had to, because this is the important one, we had to close it already. But and we have fixed it in the everywhere where we found it. Okay, let's go back to scan result and see what else it did find. So it did find a couple of SQL injections that we already closed on our main website. So let me get back to it. Yeah, it is. And it shows you how exactly it can be exploited. It shows what kind of request it did send and what kind of output it received. You can see it says error description, you have an error in your SQL syntax, blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly what is happening. Because it was passed directly to SQL query. But let's take a look. What else was interesting or can be applied? Okay, non-existent page 404. What is this? This is something that, let's see, it says the URL. And if you try to open the page that does not exist, it doesn't apply to any of the web application that we build using PHP Runner or OSP Runner.net. It's just something that relates to the web server configuration. And you should be using, and we should be using a custom 404 HTTP error page, because what it does here, it reveals things like a path to this page. So it doesn't actually make it vulnerable on its own, but combined with some other vulnerabilities, this can be a problem. So it's just helpful to have a custom 404 HTTP error page that will say something, the page you're looking for is not found. Some companies go really creative with this. Let's do something. godaddy.com/.html or htm, whatever. All right, page is not here. So they used to have some sort of funny, like a person getting lost in a party on a beach, and they don't do it anymore. Anyway, this is the kind of page you should be looking for. It's 404. It should say something. The page you're looking for is not here. Back to home page or something like this, or use our search or do whatever. And this is why the software suggests you do that. Okay, let's see what else. But let's see web application information disclosure. Maybe this is something that is, but oh yeah, this is useful. Perfect. Okay, it applies also to suggestion box live demo. And let's see what it says. Also, the same thing, right? It's shows you what happens if you pass that incorrect parameter to instead of master key, right? This is what we just checked. And the thing is, again, let me show it to you again. And what kind of problem is happening here? It provides some sort of additional information, provides some sort of information about your table and field names. Again, we are going to close this as soon as we finish the webinar. I just wanted to show you what it does. So there are two ways. First of all, in PHP Runner or ASP.NET, you can use, there is an option to override a default error output that shows your error message like this. There is an option to override it. On the output directory screen, you can just write your custom error message there, like error happened or something. Please contact system administrator or something like this. Right, and second thing, you need to fix it in your code. You need to make sure that, again, this is something that is applies to the custom code. And how do I know this? You can see it points to events file line 238, and which means this is not the part of the main PHP Runner software. And this is just a SQL query that calculates number of comments, just to show you comments count or something like this. But again, that if our developer used prepare SQL function, that incorrect number would have been converted to 0. As you can see on this page, let's take a look at, this is a very important article. You need to check it all the time when you run custom SQL queries, prepare SQL. So there is a note here that I have added recently. So that's a sample SQL query, right? Select all from customers where, oh, that's an error. There is no end. Anyway, age more than and parameter 1. And if you pass there, instead of a number, if you pass a text there, any kind of string variable, the same thing that happens on that page, it will be converted to 0. So the SQL query that will be generated like this. And it will not return any data, which is fine in our case, but it will not produce the error. This is what is important. So we don't want to display error messages. And if you use prepare SQL query in situation like this, there won't be an error message and we won't reveal any information. Again, it's probably not important on its own, but combined with some other things, it can provide hacker with some potentially useful for them and dangerous for us information.